Hi, Ann Childs. Welcome to Silver Sage Magazine, and thank you so much for being on our show today.
You're welcome. A little nervous I am.
That's okay.
I'm not used to being on TV.
Well, that's okay. So today I invited you to be interviewed to talk about aging well, because how old are you?
91. No, 90. I'm 90.
years old. You
Yeah.
just celebrated your 90th birthday.
That's right.
And when was that?
In July.
In July.
So I'm about a half a year older. 90 and a half.
So 90 and a half years of age.
Yes.
And you're remarkably in good health.
I think I am. I will admit that I don't feel 90 most of the time. And I've been blessed with good health. That's true.
Well, I have a philosophy that it's part genetics, but it's also part what you do with what you got. And so I want to talk to you about not the genetic part, but what you do to keep healthy.
All right. I try to eat healthy.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
Mostly 3 meals a day, something light in breakfast, something middle, yogurt, salad at noontime, or a sandwich if I haven't had a lot of bread in the morning. Generally, I have cereal, a piece of toast, and coffee in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then at noontime, I'll have yogurt, fruit, maybe some little dessert, and then supper, I try to have a full meal. But it varies depending on the day, what I feel like. That's the nice thing about being alone. You don't have to prepare another meal. You can eat when you want to, what you want, when you feel like eating.
And what you want to.
That's right. So I find that I try to keep it a balance. I try to not to overeat the wrong things,
Mm-hmm.
but and I try to exercise.
Well, let's hold off on the exercise. So first you eat really healthy, and it sounds like what you're eating, you're not overeating, you're eating meals throughout the day.
Yes.
Meals and snacks, and they're healthy, yogurts, fruits, vegetables, and then a regular meal per se,
yes.
like a meat and whatnot at
yes.
dinner time.
Yes, I don't count my proteins or my veg, I don't do a lot of that. And I do like sweets. I'm not, can't say I don't like my desserts, but I do try to limit myself, not to overindulge in anything that's going to be, that I shouldn't overindulge in. In other words, I'm not going to sit here and eat a box of candy because it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat candy, but I do try to.
You take a little bit at a time.
Yes, I try to.
I know you like your sweet tooth,
yes,
because I brought sweets over and you've enjoyed those.
I've enjoyed those.
But you take your time with them. You don't.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't think I do. But in fact, the last one time when I saw the doctor, she says you're losing weight, which I thought, how can she sell? I haven't done anything different. But she was a little concerned, so that I know I have to eat a certain amount.
Mm-hmm. So you know that you have to eat to keep your your health up and everything, and your strength, I think, and energy. Because if you're not eating enough, you're also losing the energy and strength that you have.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So now let's talk about exercise. I know that you've been playing tennis up until the last 6 months ago or so.
Yes, and unfortunately, I haven't played much at all this year, and partly because of the age group that I'm in. And when I was able to play, somebody else wasn't, because they were not feeling well. And we hadn't, and the dates that we picked, we had rain. So that was another, but.
How old are the women that you play tennis with?
Well, the one is a year older than I am, and the others are younger.
How much younger?
I think they're in their 70s and 80s. So they're still. They're not young.
But so you're playing doubles tennis
Yes, double tennis.
in your tennis court here,
Yes.
and you're playing with a 91-year-old. Yourself is 90, and a 70-something and an 80-something woman.
Yes.
And you guys crush it. I've seen you play.
Yes.
You
we've
guys
had some good. We have had some good matches.
Yes, absolutely. And you and I have played, and that was only a year ago.
Yes.
And you can still run around the court and hit a ball pretty hard.
I don't know now in my 91st year whether I'll ever be back on the tennis court, but that's okay as long as I find other things to do that keep me active. I'll accept that.
Okay.
Yes, I'll accept that.
So you've been playing tennis. What else do you do?
I try to walk. I'll do a little floor exercises. I try to do them every day. And then that takes about 15, 20 minutes. Stretching my muscles and, like things like this. And then I try to get a walk in. Now, I'm not very faithful on a cold day. I'm not, the weather depends on whether I go out or not. But if there's a mall near here where I can go and walk up and down for 2 or 3, make the tour.
Right.
So if I do that.
I've seen a lot of older people adults who in the bad weather will go to their local mall and just walk the mall for exercise because, let's face it, in some areas around the world, in the country, it can be icy or slippery or snowy or rainy, but you still want to get out and exercise. So you walk the mall. And the great thing is you get to see other people.
Yes, that's right. If you pick the right time, otherwise it's not busy. But the other thing, it's nice to walk there in the summertime too, because it's air conditioned.
Ah, okay.
So that's a plus, and it's not that far away.
Right.
So I try to do that, and I might manage it twice a week. The biggest part is pushing myself out the front door.
Okay. Getting up and getting going.
That's right. I find whether it's just my imagination, that since I hit 90, I'm subconsciously thinking I deserve to take it easy. So if I don't push myself out the front door, I might sit here all day.
But you're not sitting. You're playing word games and you're reading.
Oh, I'm doing that. Yeah, but I'm still not
exercising.
Not exercising. But I do try, and it's always there in my mind to get up and do something. And I have to admit that when I see other people walking and realize my gait is still very good, I say, well, it's not going to stay that way if you don't
keep doing it.
Keep motion.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I also know that you walk with your kids.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you have a lot of children.
Yes, I do.
How many kids do you have?
I have 9.
9 children.
Yes.
And how many grandchildren?
I don't know. I think
a lot.
It's 23 or 24.
Wow. That's crazy.
That leads to great-grandchildren, which I think I have about 8 of those, but I'm not sure. I have to keep counting.
Right.
My memory isn't as good as it used to be.
But that's okay. You're entitled. So 8 kids, 8 children.
9 children.
9 children. 25 plus grandchildren, almost a dozen great grandchildren, and I'm sure they keep you busy too.
Yes, the great grandchildren are scattered around. I only have a couple in this area. The others are out of state. But when they come and visit, so that's very nice.
Okay.
And we keep in touch, with if I don't hear from them, I hear from their parents.
Right.
So I know what's going on.
But you walk with your kids, you do a lot of outdoor activities. You have a big home that you maintain primarily by yourself.
That's right.
You do all the gardening.
But when there's gardening, I do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you do a lot of gardening, and you're very active in that.
Yes.
So you rake and you take care of the tennis court, which takes time. I also, you go up and you have a very long driveway.
Right.
You go up and down how many times a week to get the trash cans?
Well, I go up and down for mail if I'm not driving. Well, I drive down if I pick the mail coming in, but to get up and down once a week for trash.
Mm-hmm.
And but my children are now beginning to feel that that's too much for me, and they're going to start doing it for me.
Okay.
But it hasn't taken place yet.
Well, and they're probably worried. Your driveway is very long and it's very steep, so
yes.
I'm assuming they're more worried in the winter.
That's right.
Than they are in the spring and
to
summer.
fall
Right. Yeah.
Damage, so.
Right, because that's a tough driveway in the fall, in the winter when
time.
it's icy.
That is.
Okay.
That is.
So that's the physical aspect that you do, and you do a great job. What about the mental health? Because to me, the physical and mental well-being go together.
They do.
Yourself.
I'll agree with you there. If you get up and you're feeling down, then you really have to work to get yourself out of bed
mm-hmm.
and to be active, and depending on the weather, sometimes the gloomy day, when the sun's not shining, I feel less active.
Right.
Less likely to run out and take a walk.
Mm-hmm.
But I sometimes create work for myself, so I do, in the house or do things that I have to do. I'm sorry for them.
That's okay.
And but I'd say basically my mental health is good. I do get down. I do get I don't know if it's depression, but I do feel down at times.
Well, I was talking first mostly about the intellectual mental. So in other words, you read a lot.
Yes.
You have books on your side table. I'm sure you have books on your bedside table.
Yes.
You do crosswords.
That's right.
You've crushed me at Scrabble. So
I like to play games. I play Scrabble, and when occasion presents it, I'll play bridge. Not tournament bridge, but bridge. And I play games with the kids, the children, and the grandchildren. In fact, I had one of my granddaughters came over with her daughter last night and made supper for me. We played the game Trouble afterwards because Hazel wanted to play, so we played Trouble and had a good game. so things like that. They all seem to like to play games.
Right. So and that's good for your intellectual, so it keeps your mind active and
keeps me alert, or is that what they say?
Alert and active.
Yeah.
What about, you also have a computer that you work on?
Oh, yes.
So tell me what you do with your computer.
Well, recently I learned how to scan by taking whatever. I have my daughter Heidi's in Texas, and she helps me with some of my work. And so she wanted me to scan some information to her about. So I had to learn how to do that. How to put the piece of paper she wants me to give to her.
Right.
So I had to learn how to scan it, and I think I have it down. And that's a challenge because when people show me things on a computer, I'm not as adept. I mean, I understand, but I'm not as quick. And they're going like this. Now, what did you do?
Right.
So it took me a while to get it. But so that's something that I've just learned. But I do some of my I get my not income tax. I do some banking online.
Okay.
I don't do a lot, but I do some.
So you do your banking online. You've learned how to scan. Do you have an email account online?
Oh, yes, I have an email account.
You use?
And I use it in Skype.
And Skype?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the kids gave me Netflix, so I use that.
Okay.
I can get into that. I'm getting to be a little bit more savvy.
Yeah.
Savvy.
Now, what about social media? Are you on any social media?
On computer?
Yes.
Well, not as much as I hope to be since you're on it. No, I don't. I really don't use it for a lot of. I don't get a newspaper, so if I really want to know what's going on, I have to use the computer. Now, I'm not that anxious to know what's going on. I'm sorry to say.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
And so then I think, well, I should get more interested, but it seems to be the same old when I do get on. But
So you get your news from the computer, from one of the news sites instead of from the TV mostly.
From the computer, yeah, because I don't have if I had a computer or TV out here,
Mm-hmm.
as the children think I should have, then I'd be watching news programs more often.
Okay.
But I haven't given into that yet. So
So
having a television there.
Okay, so you're using your computer for as a news
yes,
source.
And also learning how to Google when you want some information.
Right.
I'm learning to use it more for that.
Do you have a Facebook account?
Yes, I do.
And do you use it?
I do at times, yes.
I'm going to Facebook friend you.
And I don't always pass information on. I will send messages on Facebook, but I won't put it on the wall.
Okay.
I mean, I'll communicate with people.
Message back and forth, but not
right.
on the wall.
That's right.
Okay, and so you use it as like a text message.
Yes, because I can't do text messages.
Right.
My phone is too small, not portable. That's the other thing. I use a portable phone with me all the time, and I haven't gotten a life alert yet.
You haven't.
And
I know your kids want you to have one of those.
Yes, well, they're letting me make the decision.
Okay.
Because I do have the phone with me.
Okay.
So
it seems like you do a lot to keep fit, both physically and mentally fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start talking about there are some days that you do feel down a little bit.
Yeah.
Where does that stem from?
I just think it stems from age. It's age related. I think that as you get older, it's just amazing how it takes you longer to get things done now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were younger, you got up in the morning, you had to keep going, and I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself or feel down in the dumps or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have more time on my hands, and now I think I should be doing things. And if I don't do something worthwhile during the day, sometimes I feel like I've wasted the whole day.
Okay.
I didn't pay my way that day. But I think it's the weather. If the weather is gloomy, because I'm alone,
mm-hmm.
I think there's lonesome connected with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if the sun's not shining, so if you have gloomy days, and then you're alone and you're not getting out of the house much, I think would be what would cause what people call depression.
Right.
I would find it depressing. But
and what do you do to lift yourself back out of that?
Well, I just push myself. I say, well, you had enough of this now. Go do something, house cleaning, do some cleaning,
mm-hmm.
or go out and go to the store and do some shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Or I try to take myself out of the house rather than stay in.
Okay, so getting active, getting outside, seeing people, getting out, even if it's taking a walk.
That's right.
Okay,
yes,
so getting out.
You always come back. I always come back after I push myself to do something. I always come back feeling so much better that I know I've done the right thing.
Right.
And that helps then keeps you going.
Okay.
So
my last question.
Yes.
If you had advice to give other octogenarians or nonagenarians mm-hmm. and beyond, how to stay, living life well, aging well, mm-hmm. what would you advise?
I think it's your state of mind. If you allow yourself to get really anxious, and I do at times. I mean, if I can't sleep at night, something pops in my head, and I lie there worried about this or that. And if I give into that and let that rule my day or my mental attitude,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to be ruined
mm-hmm.
because I'll be so negative about everything and I'll let things upset me. But I try not to let things upset me.
And
to
with
the
9
extent.
kids and 28 grandchildren, you could have a lot of things that
Yes,
upset
and
you.
it's more just than 9 kids. You think you thought. I know. I always thought, well, now when they're on their own, I have nothing to worry about. But that's not true. I was
Bigger the kid, the bigger the problem.
I was so naive. But I found that that's not the case. But I've been able to. I have been. I think I'm a relaxed person. That nothing has ever gotten me to the point where I broke down
Mhm.
to any great extent. I mean, I'm not saying I don't get upset and all that, but
Right.
it's something that I seem to be more of an easygoing person than one that's hyper.
Mhm. Okay.
So, and that has helped in a lot of situations that I don't get bent out of shape over
Right.
things that I could get bent out of shape over if I wanted to,
Right.
if I let myself.
Right.
I don't. I think that's your state of mind. And I do believe that God's with us and that He's come to my help more often than I. When I really put my trust in the Lord, it seems to help.
Okay.
But I think it's my
Your mental health
health
keeps
keep-
everything else working.
Yeah,
because that
my
drives your physical health,
That's
because it
right.
gets you out of the house and gets you moving.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And I think you're an inspiration. And I hope when I'm 90, I'm as fit and healthy, both physically, mentally, and emotionally as you. That's my goal.
My children are always saying, "Well, Mom, you aren't. If you are, they get concerned because I am 90 and think I shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that." And I sort of don't think that way. And then I think, well, maybe I should be more careful or whatever. Now, driving's another issue. I'm still driving, and I hope I can continue to drive for a few more years, but we shall see how that works out.
We shall see. The next interview.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back.
All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. I enjoyed it. It's nice talking.